Hi, I'm Ravi Teja, your mentor for CAT preparation, and through this video, I'll take you through the expected pattern of CAT 2021 and the syllabus that you need to cover to ace CAT 2021 with only 4.5 months to go. First, let's try and understand the pattern that is expected in CAT 2021. To understand that, let's take a look at what happened in CAT 2019 and CAT 2020. To first look at CAT 2019, from 2015 to 2019, CAT was a 100-question paper with 3 sections: verbal ability and reading comprehension, data interpretation and logical reasoning, and quantitative ability, all adding up to 100 questions, and the paper was conducted for 3 hours. However, in CAT 2020, what happened is, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, they had to shorten the duration of the exam from 3 hours to 2 hours. So CAT became a 2-hour exam. As a result, the number of questions in CAT also came down in CAT 2020. That means in CAT 2020, as you can see here, there were only 76 questions, including all the 3 sections. In CAT 2019, in the first section, that is verbal ability and reading comprehension, out of 34 questions, there were 7 questions which were non-multiple choice questions. In the second section, in data interpretation and logical reasoning, out of 32, there were 8 questions which were non-multiple choice questions. And in the last section, quantitative ability, 11 questions out of 34 were non-multiple choice questions. That is, almost 1/3 of the paper of quantitative ability was non-multiple choice questions. As a result, in the entire paper of 100 questions, there were 26 questions which were non-multiple choice questions, and there were 74 questions which had multiple choices. And the marking scheme remained as usual, with 3 marks for every correct answer and 1 mark negative for every incorrect answer, -1 for every incorrect answer for a question that had multiple choices. While we look at CAT 2020, the first section, verbal ability and reading comprehension, consisted of only 26 questions, and out of the 26 questions, there were only 5 non-multiple choice questions. The second section, data interpretation and logical reasoning, consisted of 24 questions. By the way, the pattern of data interpretation and logical reasoning, the kind of questions asked in data interpretation and logical reasoning, also changed a little. Till last year, till 2019, what it used to be is that every set of questions used to be followed by 4 questions. But in CAT 2020, in DILR, you could see some sets being followed by 4 questions and some other sets being followed by 6 questions each. That is what constituted of 24 questions in DILR, and there were 6 questions in this section which were non-multiple choice questions. Till now, we have seen verbal ability and reading comprehension, and we have seen in CAT 2019, the quantitative ability section consisted of 1/3 of the questions which were non-multiple choice questions. But when it came to CAT 2020, quantitative ability, also like verbal ability, was a section that consisted of 26 questions, but only 6 of them were non-multiple choice questions. That means less than 1/4 of the questions of quantitative ability in CAT 2020 were non-multiple choice questions. That is the overall pattern to be able to understand what will happen in CAT 2021 that we needed to take a look at. Now, the speculations about CAT 2021 are as follows. CAT 2021 may go back to be a 3-hour paper, or it may continue to be a 2-hour paper. Well, our guess is that it will continue to be a 2-hour paper, given that COVID-19 pandemic has not been completely overcome yet. Hence, it is going to be probably a 2-hour paper. And if it is a 2-hour paper, the total number of questions is going to remain close to what it happened last year, probably 76. And our guess is that it may even reduce by a little. Probably only 70 questions in all is what you can expect in CAT 2021. Let us take a look at what is the syllabus that you need to cover to be able to ace CAT 2021. Well, to be honest, CAT being a test of aptitude, it is very difficult to define the boundaries of aptitude. Yet, Having seen the last previous year's papers, we may be able to just about tell you that what are the topics of importance when it comes to the preparation of CAT, preparation for acing CAT. We will look at each of the subjects one by one. The first section is verbal ability and reading comprehension. In verbal ability and reading comprehension, you will find three types of questions. Number one, that involves reading comprehension itself. That means you will be given a passage that will have a length of typically 450 to 500 to 550 words, which can be followed by 4 to 6 questions. The second type of question is para jumbles. That means you will be given 4 sentences or 5 sentences that will form a meaningful paragraph, but the order of them will be jumbled and you have to find what is the correct answer, what is the correct order in which, if they are arranged, they will form a coherent paragraph. The third kind of question is paragraph summary. In this type of question, you will typically be given a passage that contains 100 to 150 words. Sometimes it may even go to 200 words, and then you have to summarize that passage in one line. Don't worry, it is not a subjective answer that you need to give. You will be given 4 choices, out of which you have to choose which choice will best summarize the passage given above. Having known about the type of questions of verbal ability, it is now time to understand what is the source of passages going to be in verbal ability. In verbal ability section of CAT, the source of passages have been typically either newspaper articles or articles published in magazines, or some articles even published in some journals, and sometimes even passages that are directly taken from a book. So, and because all of these kind of sources are possible, the genre of the source, the genre of the passage may range from history to philosophy, from science and technology to psychology, from religion to political sciences. Any kind of passage may appear, but more often than not, in every paper you will typically find at least one passage that belongs to science and technology and one odd passage that may belong to philosophy. Coming to the second section, data interpretation and logical reasoning. Well, arguably probably the toughest section in CAT, because a lot of people have a fear about attempting data interpretation and logical reasoning. Well, trust me, there is nothing very, very difficult in data interpretation and logical reasoning. When I look at the data interpretation part of it, what I'm looking at is questions or data represented in the form of either a bar graph or a pie chart or a line graph or even a table, or they can be a miscellaneous kind of a graph in which the couple of graphs are combined. There can be a radar graph that we also call the spider chart kind of things that was visible in CAT 2019 and CAT 2020. It is only that the way the data is represented is intimidating. Otherwise, the calculations are not very, very, very tough, and you can very well prepare for data interpretation very easily. Coming to the logical reasoning part of it, or we can call it the analytical reasoning part of it, you will find questions from areas like arrangements, games and tournaments, set theory, out of which arrangements is probably the most important topic or most important type of questions, because data arrangement or data assignment kind of problems you will find in every previous year's paper that you would see of CAT. Coming to quantitative ability is also infamously known as math, but to my mind it is not math. Quantitative ability is your ability to play with numbers, is your ability to approach mathematics logically. The kind of topics that are in quantitative ability can be categorized into 5 different boxes. The first box, arithmetic. Time, speed and distance, time and work, percentage, profit, loss and discount, simple interest and compound interest, these kind of topics, ratio, proportion, averages, these kind of topics that you have done in school. You may have faced questions on each of these topics in the form of word problems from class 6 to class 10, and you may not have realized that it is going to be useful later when you are going to prepare for CAT. That is what is arithmetic, and arithmetic constitutes of typically 25 to 30% of the paper when it comes to quantitative ability. The second important box is algebra. When I am saying algebra, don't be intimidated by the name algebra, because not a lot of higher algebra will be questioned on. In algebra, what you need to be good at is linear equations, quadratic equations, logarithm. Logarithm is one kind of question that is found in almost all the previous CAT papers from 2016 to 2020. And you'll also probably have to work a little bit on sequences and series, arithmetic progressions, geometric progressions, and a little bit of functions. That is what comprises of algebra. The third important box is number system. LCM, HCF, factors, factorials, odd numbers, even numbers, what are their properties, prime numbers, all of these things will constitute the number system. Number 4, the fourth important box is geometry. When I say geometry, I know a lot of you hate geometry, but geometry that you require to understand here is triangles, properties of triangles, similarity, properties of circles, and a little bit of properties of quadrilaterals and other polygons is what you need to really focus on. Well, mensuration is also a part of geometry that may be important, especially 3D mensuration. When it comes to cylinders and cones and spheres, it is an important part of CAT preparation yet again. The fifth important box, or the fifth box that you can place for quantitative ability, is modern math. And modern math consists of permutation and combination, probability, and set theory. Anything that cannot be basically categorized into arithmetic or algebra or geometry or numbers will fall into modern math. And these are the 5 boxes of quantitative ability that you need to be good at. Having said that, 60 to 70% of the paper will roughly be constituted by arithmetic and algebra alone when it comes to quantitative ability. If you find the content of this video useful and helpful, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. I'll see you again.